obviously I am aware just how much Boris content we've done recently, but you'll obviously have to forgive me because continuously there is just stuff coming out on a daily basis. Just yesterday we had the emergence of Boris's comments about basically letting people die, which is pretty much what they summed up to. Not only that, were there now multiple people in Downing Street saying, yes, he has said that, not only just once, but on multiple occasions. Not only that, there is reportedly a recording of him saying that hasn't surfaced yet, but who knows? We've got the potential for yet probably more Dominic Cummings revelations. And here's the thing. If there is anyone better placed to tell you where all Boris's skeletons lie in Downing Street, it's the man who literally sat on his shoulder. So, there's been a lot of people very, very tempted saying, oh, you shouldn't believe, Cummings for saying this, and this. But not only has some of his stuff been said now been backed up by other sources, and in Downing Street, who have also gone and said, we will go under oath to say that, he has said this. These are picking up so very quickly. And I think the more this gathers pace, we've already seen opinion polls that this is starting to hurt the Conservatives, slowly but surely. But I think as the public come to understand a lot of these issues, because at the moment, if you think all of these multiple things seem unconnected, but really when you think about it, everything becomes connected to seeing that we are seeing a government that is mired in a massive corruption. They're in the swamp up to their eyeballs in this, and we need to do something about it. And I've said before that Labour need to really take advantage of it. It's fantastic that they're calling the Tories out for it, as they should, and I don't think they should let this go, but they need to push for, as Keir Starmer is doing, for full parliamentary inquiries, which is good, but they also need to start pushing, and what would be an incredible vote winner is to push for some serious anti-corruption legislation. That would be a fantastic vote winner. Not only that, they could push for this in member day motions, and then call out all the Tory MPs who voted against it if it doesn't go through. It would be fantastic for them to do that. But today, as we said, we're going to go and delve more into the court of King Boris. So before we do that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link. So thank you very much to all the people who do support the channel that way. Your support is very, very much appreciated. So, this comes from The Guardian, and today the title of the article is, "In the court of King Boris, only one thing is certain. This will all end badly." Instead of a cabinet, Britain has courtiers, and in place of a prime minister, there is a potentate. The traditional structures still exist, but the tribunes to an obsolete way of governing. There are still secretaries of state, but their place in the formal constitutional hierarchy has very little bearing on real power, which swirls in an unstable vortex of advisors and officials vying for proximity to Boris Johnson's throne. The product of this arrangement is the accrued stew of the scandal leaking out of Downing Street, a mixture of financial irregularities, reckless statecraft, and pure vendetta. Some of it involving the Prime Minister's fiancée, but to complete the impression of complete Byzantine intrigue. Number 10 has always had informal cliques and kitchen cabinets. The Prime Ministers have commonly trusted advisers more than ministers, and Alistair Campbell was the mythic enforcer of Tony Blair's will when Dominic Cummings was splashing around in the political shallow end, advising and inadvertently betraying Ian Duncan Smith. But The current situation is unprecedented for 3 reasons. First, Brexit. There might have been a way to discourage Britain from the EU without defining the task as a project of total rupture from the past, requiring the elimination of dissenting opinion. But that was not the way chosen. Johnson embraced the revolutionary ethos, according to which institutional norms are dispensable, compromise is weakness, and victory is only secure when all bridges are completely burnt. Second, the pandemic. Lockdown involving parliamentary surrendering of power on a scale unknown outside wartime. The government took quasi-authoritarian controls and offered MPs only curiously debates in exchange. The structures of social distancing deluded the Commons, and whips wielded by Tory MPs, proxy votes by the bucket load. The claims of uncertainty trumped scrutiny, and they might have been justified at the start of the emergency, but it became a complete elastic stretching across the full range of government business. Expedience then morphed into the presumption that due diligence was only optional and unnecessary when so much of the business could be done very casually in the VIP lanes contract. And third, Johnson's character. The Prime Minister approaches the truth the way a toddler handles broccoli. He understands that the idea that it contains some goodness, but it will touch his lips only if a higher authority compels it there. Everyone who has worked with him in journalism and politics describes a pattern of selfishness and unreliability. He craves attention and demands loyalty, but lacks the qualities that will cultivate proper friendships. The public Broheim hides a private streak of brooding paranoia. Being incapable of faithfulness, he presumes that others are just as ready to betray him, which they dutifully do, provoked by his own duplicity. Johnson is driven by the reckless sense of his own entitlement to be the apex of power and conviction. Supported by the evidence gathered on his journey to the top, the rules are a trap to catch weaker men, and honour is simply a plastic trophy that losers award themselves in consolidation of unfulfilled ambition. Having such a personality at the heart of government makes a nonsense of the unwritten protocol. Much of British politics proceeds by the observance of invisible guide rails, guarding against the tyrannical capacities of the former constituency's explicit prohibition. There is actually an accrued cultural expectation of democratic propriety, a self-policing code, and a code summarised by historian Peter Hensey as the good chap and the theory of government. It was never rigorous. All manner of hypocrisies flourish when a self-selecting elite chooses the boundaries of legitimate behaviour. But there were boundaries. Johnson has none. He does, however, meet the traditional epitaph and criteria of just a good chap. White, Etonian-educated male is the complete camouflage of the repute perfect for a pattern of fraud that would never have been so tolerated by so many for so long if it hadn't been perpetrated in style, in the ancient idiom of England's ruling class. And Conservative MPs are not under any illusion about the man who leads them. They appointed a rogue as their king because they craved the success that his methods bring. It was inevitable that the evidence of his unsuitability for the job would leak into the public domain, even if it takes a while for misrule to have an electoral consequence. The question pinging around Tory WhatsApp groups is how far the current furore reaches beyond Westminster. Do voters care about loans to do up the Downing Street flat? Do they believe that Johnson said he would rather see the bodies piled high than impose a third lockdown? Most are reserving judgment, predicating on next week's local and devolved elections. If the Tories poll well, the conclusion will be that Johnson's system still works. Whether it's a good system, whether a Prime Minister's popularity should ease qualms about his ethics, is a question that will be deferred until the next crisis. And that will come along soon enough. Downing Street is now a machine for generating vindictive enmity. Energies that could be spent on policies are consumed on settling scores and lighting new fires to old ones. This is not a phase, nor it is an accident. It is a new mode of government being improvised because events are completely flattened the old way. The court of King Boris combines the zealotry of a revolution with the conceit of an empire and probity of gangsters. It is hard to predict how long such a regime can actually last, but two things can be forecast with absolute confidence. The fall will be messy, and the few who cheer Johnson today will be boasting of having done so once he is gone. So that is very much predicted, and history has seen this happen many, many, many times before. And like I say, the local elections, things like obviously Boris's comments and what's going on here, they mainly do and don't play a big part in local elections. Sometimes they can do. The Iraq War was a big implicator because we did see that during the Iraq War. Labour was punished at local elections during that time. But as was said there, has this gone beyond Westminster? Do the voting public care enough about what Boris has done? And not only that, how long will this last? If this all blows over, if next week, that's it, it's all gone, it all blows over, this is just something in the past, then how long till the next emergency? How long till the next crisis? How long till the next scandal? This can't continue forever. And sooner or later, there will be a scandal that will just be one too many. What it will be, who knows? Is this the scandal that was one too many? Who knows? Nevertheless, it will be interesting to see if this does damage the Tories. Like I say, we have seen that they have had a 4% drop in the polls. They're still ahead, but nevertheless, that is significantly damaging to them. But like I say, we're going to have to see and wait and see. And as always, who knows? Who knows? 24 hours can be a long time in politics. By the time I've done this, there could be entirely new revelations and new scandals taking place. So, who knows? In the court of King Boris, one thing is absolutely sure, that the Emperor has no clothes, and that no one, absolutely no one in the cabinet is willing to tell the truth. So, as always, thank you for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below, there is a link to my Patreon page and a link to a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you to all the people that do support me that way. And as always, we'll see you all next time.